Wealth Without Wall Street Tribe. So glad to have our friend Bill Allen back in the studio. It's been since 2020. Can you imagine that? Bill, so glad to have you back.
I'm glad that I've known you guys for at least 4 years now. This is nice to be back.
Well, it took 4 years to get you back after the last time. So maybe we won't take 4 to get you back another time.
All right, I was so offended that I had to put that on the back burner for 4 years.
Yeah.
We'll see how you do this time.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't get a chance to listen to Bill's story, go back. It was episode 146, How I Achieved 7 Figures Through Flipping Homes. Definitely get his background on the home flipping side. But Bill, man, for the last 4 years, you've been building other things in addition to the 7-figure home flipping side. Give us a little insight of what's been happening.
Yeah, it's actually been a lot since 2020. So we had the real estate business. So we were doing like a couple hundred deals a year. COVID hit. We went down to doing like 50 or 60 flips and wholesales a year. As a company, I brought in a partner and a CEO of that company so I could kind of go do some other things. Build up 7-figure flipping, which is a real estate coaching company. Brought in a COO the past couple of years. That was going well throughout the pandemic, and like 2021, 2022 started to kind of fatigue a little bit over the past few years. You guys probably know business is cyclical. We have some changes. So I made some big changes in that company recently. We hired a new CEO and COO for that company so I could step out and do some other things. I bought a farm. I bought 13 acres of grass and I turned it into a farm. So that's been growing for the last 4 years. It's exciting. We probably do $700,000 or $800,000 of like top line revenue this year. Hopefully that makes me a little bit of money because it hasn't the previous years. But it's fun. It like fills up my soul. And then we've been building real estate, like an event software company, not just real estate, but like live events. I did that the last 2 years. And then we're launching a TV show coming up for kids flipping houses. So I've been really focused the past few years on how we can like get kids more involved in business and real estate. So that's been really fun and exciting. I've been working on social media, flying my plane around, doing hopefully cool videos on YouTube and Instagram the last year. It's been a lot of fun. And just kind of like, I just like try to enjoy new things and learn new things. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
What's the most important resource that you have? If you really thought about this deeply, I think you'd come to the same conclusion that Joey and I did. It's time. In our newest book, Wealth Without Wall Street, The 3 Steps to Financial Freedom Through Passive Income, we talk about how are we tracking that time? What is the thing that we can do to get more of that time back?
That's right. If you've ever been listening to our podcast and thought, man, it would be amazing if I could take all the things that you guys have learned over the last 10 years and just summarize them, put them in some way to easily digest them and take action, that's what this book is all about. You're not going to want to miss it. Go to wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/new book and get your copy today.
All right. So farms, events, and TV shows is what I heard. I feel like it's a story from Green Acres here. Let's do so tell me, why farm?
It's a little bit of a longer story, but kind of my wife and I were maybe like 2 degrees off for a few years, I felt like, and she did too. I kind of woke up and I felt like I kind of had a roommate, I don't know if anybody else listening's ever felt like that. You just, been married for a while, and we were probably coming up on like 6 or 7 years at that time. She was going through a lot of depression and anxiety and just a lot of personal things. And she left to go into rehab, like a rehab for depression, like just a place that it was a luxurious place, like one of those places that you write a big check to go for a month, and a retreat center. And just the other people that were there, like hooked on drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And it's just not a good influence. And she ended up being there for like 3 months, asked me for a divorce while she was there on Zoom because it was like 2020. We couldn't go like see anyone. And we worked through it. Like went through all the pain, all the struggles, all the issues, all the problems, got to like the real like root of who we are, like the essence of who God made us to be, like looking at each other after like some horrible things that we went through, and just said we want to be together. So, we were working through the backside of that, and I ended up buying her a horse that year for Christmas of 2020. And because there was a lot of horse therapy that was happening at this event center, this rehab facility. She grew up with horses. And so got her this horse, put it on a friend's farm a couple miles away. And I found myself there like every day. Like I don't really care about horses. I didn't like them before. It was just so majestic and like incredible to just watch them run. I was like, I want to see this in my back porch. Like, I don't want to drive 5 miles as ridiculous as that sounds, to go like just roll the windows down in my car with my kids in the back and look at this horse. I want to sit on my back porch and do it. And there was this 13-acre property behind our house. And I was like, you know what? Like that horse can live there if I can buy it. So I knocked on the guy's door. I wrote him a check and I paid cash for his property. And he wanted to build a house somewhere else anyway. And so we came to terms. They lived in the house for the next year and a half while he built his house somewhere else. And so I don't do anything like just small scale, really. So we bought that property. We put the horse there. We built fences. We put a horse barn. We got more horses. We got a mini horse. Always wanted a mini horse ever since I watched Robin Big when I was a kid on MTV. It's like they had this mini horse in the middle of LA. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was like, I love that show, Rob Dyrdek show. And I've always wanted a mini horse. I was like, I could take this mini horse on like real estate appointments and put it on a YouTube channel or something. I still haven't done that. So we got we got chickens, raised 40 chickens in our spare bedroom. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Like definitely raise them in a garage or outside. It's things like that. And then like literally I'm like a city guy, never lived on anything over a half an acre my entire life. I killed everything I've ever planted in my life. And so I have no idea what I'm doing. I was just watching documentaries on the internet. And then we turned like an acre of grass into a garden to raise food for our family and for others. So we were like, oh, we can have eggs and then we can have like produce, and watermelons and strawberries. And so I would like get on the internet and find somebody that had strawberries and go pick them up in my Tesla. And I put blackberries in the back of my Tesla. It was just, it was like, I don't know, the most ridiculous thing ever the first year. And we built this community though, this really cool community around our local area of people that were getting a subscription of produce from us that first year. We ended up launching a farmer's market that July, 6-7 months into it. And it just became this thing that we could kind of like rebuild our relationship in our life with. And so the farm is really near and dear to my heart. I lose money in it every year, but it fills my soul. And the memory came from this like deep, dark, horrible place that we were, but turned into so much like incredible beauty and has helped so many people, so many different entrepreneurs that sell at our farmer's market, families that come there, the kids that show up and see an egg being like laid out of a chicken's butt for the first time, a potato growing out of the ground that they didn't know that it was like green above the ground. And there's like a plant, and then under the ground is all these potatoes growing. I didn't know that either. We have 80 different varieties of fruits and vegetables. We raise meat chickens now. It's been a cool place for my kids to grow up. And if you walk like 100 yards out of our back door, it's like you're not even in the middle of the city. It's in the middle of the city. It's the last 13 acres there. And we could have built 54 houses on it, but instead we put a farm where we can raise our kids and they can go out and play and build a fort and do all the stuff that's not happening in today's world on the iPads and Xbox and PlayStation and all that, YouTube and all that crap. So the kids go out there with their friends, they play, they mess around, they jump up on hay bales and fall off and play football in the yard there and all kinds of stuff. So that is the shortest story I can tell about that.
Well, so basically, I know the entrepreneur that you are, you're finding other ways to monetize this thing. So you've got Joey, bringing his kid over for like birthday parties to, take pictures with the horse. He's probably trying to see if you'll like make it look like a unicorn to do something for his girls. You got the farmer's market. How else are you monetizing this thing?
Yeah, so funny you should ask. Last year I made a post on Facebook and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a zebra to buy to put on my farm because I needed more traffic. Like I need more eyeballs. I need more people at the farm. So I was like, dude, if we got a zebra out here, people would come to see the zebra and like they would come to the farmer's market and just like take pictures with the zebra. And I didn't realize there's like hundreds of zebras in Tennessee that I could buy from all these, like 50 people were like, oh, I know a guy who sells zebras. I know a guy. And then I found out that you have to put a blanket on a zebra all winter. They're not designed to be in the cold. It's a total disaster. They hate everyone. They're such a pain in the butt. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. So then I went looking for the next animal. But you're right. I have all these animals. Like we'll have like anniversary parties. I built a barn 2 years ago, 3,600 square foot barn that we can do events in. So I rent it out. I do events for my company there. So like we'll do an event at our event center. And then for dinner, we'll go down to our barn and have dinner there, food trucks, catered. It's amazing. People get to see where I live and just hang out. I get to do a farm tour. So that's been great for our community at Seven Figure Flipping. And then the next piece is I started raising meat chickens. I did a partnership with, I buy a lot of stuff wholesale and sell at retail at our booth and our farmers market and pop-up sales. So we will probably do like 80 to 90 cows this year, maybe more. And next year I could see us doing like over 100 at least. We do a box subscription for beef. We did a produce subscription. We do salad subscription with another partner that grows salads. We do a chicken subscription. So people come every week to pick up their chicken. We raise those and slaughter them on the farm. I rent out some grass. There was like a row of grass that really, there's a lot of grass. I have like maybe like 3 acres or 4 acres of just parking lots for the farmer's market. So I took just one strip of parking and I put it up on an app called Neighbor. And people just like inquire about it and rent a 10 by 40 space in the grass for their RVs or boats or cars or vehicles or trailers, things like that. So they just pay like $120 a month. It's auto deposits into my account. That brings me like $1,500 to $2,000 a month. So that brought like an easy like 20 grand in my account, all net. Like I have no other expenses on that really. It's easy to manage. So stuff like that. Like you're right. I'm always trying to figure out how to kind of monetize that stuff and tax breaks and all that stuff.
I'm just going to tell you, like this section of our show is sponsored by 100unicorns.com. If you want to go and see dude, you have a zebra, you put a horn on that thing and you just color the mate in rainbow colors. Bro, your lights out birthday parties for days. I mean, you will be just stacking up the Benjamins immediately.
So I talked to a lady who does weddings and she has a couple zebras that are in the wedding. So they like walk them down. They have an area with like the bride and groom and take a picture with a zebra. And she was telling me how horrible the zebra's attitudes are around people. She's like, because I was asking her, I was like, okay, tell me more about this business. Like, how are you monetizing the zebra? If I get one, like, what is it like? And she's like, we have to chase this thing like all around the farm to get it. And then once I get it, a lot of times it will not do what I ask it to do. It hates the people. Sometimes it kicks the people. I'm like, I am not willing to open myself up to this liability here with the zebra. So that's why when I moved on and then I started thinking about alpacas. So like now I'm on an alpaca train. That's like my next, I'm going to analyze the alpaca business for like all the pelts and fur and stuff like that you can sell. And
alpaca.
So, and they're supposed to be like really protective for the chickens and things. So that's like another, and all the other animals on the farm. So that's kind of the next route. So I'm off the zebra. If anybody's listening to this and is like, man, I can't wait till Bill gets a zebra. I decided to pass on the zebra for now.
They're just misunderstood. I mean, at the end of the day, zebras are just really black and white. Like they're just, straight to the point. Some people see that as an attitude.
So bad. I did have a friend in high school that he was an alcoholic in high school, and he had a mint green Geo Storm on the hatchback things, and he and some other buddy I know around 1 o'clock went to the local putt-putt place and stole a life-size zebra statue, shoved it in the back of that Geo Storm, and dropped it off at his girlfriend's house. So yeah, I've seen a zebra out in the wild before.
There was nothing worse than walking into class when you're in school and the teacher saying, "Pop quiz day." Why? Because you were unprepared. Are you unprepared, though, for financial freedom?
Don't be. Find out how close you are by taking our 30-second quiz at wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/quiz.
Let's talk about the event venue, man. Like, because Joey's been trying to convince me to buy an event venue. Talk a little bit about that and how successful has it been for you?
Yeah. So I bought a few years ago, I think it's been 3 years now. I can't believe it. We bought a church. So this is I think it's our third year running it. So we have a 16,000 square foot building that we bought. It kind of is like an office building. It's not like, big steeple top roof, with a cross up on it. It looks like an office building, a little too much like an office building. It's like a red brick, ugly, like rectangular office building. But when you walk in, you walk into the doors and you have this 5,000 square foot auditorium that can hold like 200 to 220 people. So it's where they do their church service. Had really great AV and stuff like that, like in a whole area for an AV booth and a stage and all the stuff that I would want in an event center to do live events. And then 5,000 square feet on the left, you kind of go left from there. That's a cafeteria. So it's an area that has a full kitchen. It has pass-through windows for like catering. And like right now, while we're doing this, there is a women's business luncheon from the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce rented the cafeteria from me. They have 85 women in there. They paid them like $20 or $25 each to do lunch. They have lunch donated and they do a training for these women once a month. And so they rent the space for me just for like 4 or 5 hours. and I make some income doing that. The other, so it's great for us to rent out or to use ourselves. And then the other 5,000 square feet is like 8 breakout rooms, so classroom style. So if you think the church meets in the main auditorium area for their church, they call it their sanctuary, right? They meet there. And then they might do like a luncheon or something like that in the cafeteria area, or, eat lunch together. And then the other area during church, the breakout rooms, are all the kids ministry. So they're doing daycare there while they do their church service. So it's a great setup for exactly what we do in hotels. I have the main auditorium to do my presentation. We move over to the cafeteria to eat lunch. I get lunch catered, or we pull a food truck up or something that we buy lunch. And then during the session, we can break out into breakout rooms, 8 different breakout rooms that hold like 20 or 30 people each. And so the setup, when I walked in, I was like, there's no way that I'm buying a 16,000 square foot building. I was looking for like a small studio and event center at that time, like 3 years ago. But then I started looking at it and going, there's so much potential here. Like, I'm sitting in it right now. My office is in here. I work here every day. I'm the only person that works here every day, really, in a 16,000 square foot building. I was like, that's kind of overkill. But when I looked at the numbers, it just totally made sense. So I'll give a couple of the details of the numbers too. We were spending about $1.2 to $1.3 million a year on hotels. So we're running all of our events at hotels. I was paying they have this F&B thing. It's like a minimum food and beverage minimum that you have to pay. You have to get all the room bookings. So you have to have this room block to negotiate in there. If you don't hit the room block, so like all of you that go to these events, by the way, you go to Russ and Joey's event, if you're not staying in the hotel, you need to start staying in the hotel. Like, number one, it's where all the magic happens. Late night, you get to talk to people and meet up. But number two, if you don't stay there, they have to write a check. And so Airbnb like completely destroyed my hotel event business because everybody wants to stay in Airbnbs and stuff. They don't want to support us. They don't understand how it works. And I'm stroking $15,000, $20,000 checks because we don't have enough people staying at the hotel. And so that's a huge problem of us trying to market to our people to say, stay at the hotel, stay at the hotel. I mean, I got to the point where I was like, hey, can you guys do me a favor and just stay at the hotel? Like, we need that. I mean, it's just cost us a lot of money if you don't. And I'm done saying like the networking is amazing, which it is. Like the night at the bar that everybody's hanging out and talking, like that's very valuable. You don't get that in Airbnb. But ultimately, like, help us, if you want me to keep doing these events, I can't go broke. We got to pay for the event. So it stopped all of that. Now I don't care where you stay, stay in Airbnb. I don't care. Stay in a hotel down the road. I got a friend that owns the Holiday Inn Express down the road. Like, you can stay at his place. He'll give you a little discount, but I don't have a room block. Like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's a huge weight and lift off of me and my team to have to facilitate that. $1.2 million in savings from events. And then we can I'm not forced to buy the hotel food that tastes like crap. I can get whatever food I want. Like, if I want barbecue and I find a great vendor, I have tons of connections from the farmer's market. They cater here. We can literally pull 3 food trucks up and just let people buy whatever they want from the food truck and then just give me the bill afterward. And they can, order what they want when they want. Just the flexibility of us being able to use the building. So that's what's great for us. I get to save $1.2 million back to the bottom line. Don't have to worry about all the other hassles and problems. I control my space. And then the second piece is the church they own this place. So I bought it from them. They're building a church a mile down the road right now to be done in December of this year. And they were paying their mortgage every month, but they needed the cash to build their new church. So I was like, all right, well, I'll buy it from you. You can keep doing your church service here because they only use it Wednesday and Sunday. Would you guys continue to pay the mortgage that you were paying here? Would you guys continue to pay the utilities that you were paying here? Would you guys continue to take care of the grounds like you have been doing with, cutting the grass and those kind of things, and just do exactly what you were doing, but I'll buy the building for whatever the appraised value is right now. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. I was like, okay, cool. So I have an instant tenant that rents the building back for me at it's about 2/3 of the mortgage that I had to pay. And so now all I have to do is supplement the rest of the money with rentals or from my company renting it from me who bought it. And so now the company rents, these offices to use it from us every single month. They rent the building. And then like the Chamber of Commerce and other people, anniversary parties. I got a quinceañera coming up. I got a guy who he sells tickets to have a party here with music and DJ and booze and stuff like that. So he tries to make money. He rents it once a month. I got plays and theater groups that are renting it from me now. On a little bit longer term contract that worked for me great. And so it has the ability to make money. So the all-in numbers here, $3.2 million purchase on this, if I remember right. I got an owner-occupied loan, so I only had to put 10% down. So I put $350,000 down on the building. The mortgage is paid every single month, and it's paying down the principal. I don't count that, right? And then on this, I did a cost segregation on it. I got like a $1.6 million, 1.4, 1.5, something like that, $1 million write-off on $350,000 invested. So I put in $350,000 cash. I got a $1.4 million write-off on my taxes day one from bonus depreciation, and I'm making money every single month or breaking even. So, I mean, I think that's a good deal. Like, I would do that again. You know,
Joey's been trying to get me to do that as well. I mean, like this is.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Like they only and I mean, I'm not downtown Nashville. I'm in Spring Hill, but like legitimately, people just fly in here, take a car down here, like rent a car, come down. It's 5 minutes from my house. Totally selfish. I don't have to travel. I have to go to all these different cities all the time to do all these events. We might do it from time to time. Like we just went to Baltimore for an event because our people do want to go to some newer places. So once a year, if we go to like, you know, Cancun or something like that, and then the rest of the time we're here at the office, it just gives me the opportunity. And I can do a lot of meetups. I can do events. I can do trainings here. I can just, you know, I just did a social media event where I told people to come. I had like 60, 70 people here that just came and I taught from stage for the day. I'm like in my office. I don't have to go anywhere. I have no risk.
All right, Bill. So far we've talked about farming. We've talked about event venues and all these other things, including zebras and 100 unicorns. But we haven't gotten to what I thought was the most incredible thing was TV show. Like not every day, you know, you have somebody come on talking about a TV show. Tell me about what that is and what that looks like right now.
Yeah. Thanks for asking about that. It's probably a project I'm most excited about. It's, we've had for the last 6 or 7 years, we've had kids getting into real estate in our programs, like the parents bringing their kids to our events. And these kids have gotten a lot of traction. There's a 17-year-old girl in our community she's on her 9th deal right now. We have a kid who just turned 15, did his first deal when he was 13, did 2 when he was 14, and he just turned 15 last Monday, and he's doing his 4th deal right now. So he made $70,000 3 weeks ago before his 15th birthday.
Wow.
On a flip that he did. So like these kids were doing all this stuff, and it was really exciting. And I really wanted to figure out how to kind of display this. Like, how do we tell the world about this? And that kid's dad, the 15-year-old, his name's Ollie Whitefield. His dad's Ryan Whitefield. So Ryan, for the last about a year and a half, has been putting together this concept of this TV show called Kids Who Flip. So kids flipping houses. And we've been pitching it to the networks and just like trying to figure out how to get some traction. It's a totally different ballgame when it comes to these shows. Like a lot of people want to buy the show from you, like buy the idea, but then you lose all control over it. They can basically create whatever they want. They can script it. They can kick you out as the host. They can kick the kids off. They can do whatever, you know. They just buy the name, buy the rights, and next thing you know, you're left in the dust, maybe after a season or maybe right away. So there's a couple people that did it differently, like Oprah and Joanna Gaines, and a few of those people did it differently, where they own the show, and then they basically like sell the rights for a season or so to the network, and then they get to choose what they do with it later. So Oprah was able to build her own network and her own magazine and all that stuff that she owned versus the network owning it. So like just think about HGTV's like, we love the idea, guys. We want to take it, and then they take it and run with it and just run it into the ground possibly. So we could run in the ground too, but we'll see what happens. So we took it around to all these networks, and just about 2 months ago, we got just a perfect connection. It was like, I think God was working really well in this story and just connected us to the right person that then connected us to the right person. And we got it in front of this guy who works with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers and them wrote us this amazing contract with a guaranteed minimum. So now we could take it, because we couldn't film the show. Like, can you imagine raising money for a TV show and being like, what every network was like, we'll take it, but you got to film it. And it's like $1.7 million was our filming budget, like to film 10 to 12 episodes of a 22-minute show. That's how much travel, hotels, team, cameras, food, like all that stuff costs so much money with everybody involved that we're like, nobody's going to give us like $1.7 million to film something just because a network said we might take it when you film it. And then if we wanted to film a pilot, it was going to be like $300,000 or $250,000 just to do one episode of a pilot. And we're flipping a house. So like we actually have to flip a house. It's not like
it's going to take multiple episodes.
Yeah. So like we're basically committing to the whole season. And so nobody is willing to take that risk that I know. And so now we got the guarantee contract. We took that contract to a company and groups that fund TV shows and movies on contracts like this, and they collateralize it. So fortunately, I knew all this stuff about real estate. So we're real estate guys. We're used to raising money and doing creative deals like this. So we got them to collateralize the contract to get the money. And so now we have the money coming in about a week. We start filming in just a couple weeks, September 26th or something. So if you're in Tampa, Florida, or the local area, it would be really cool. You can come see like the filming and stuff like that. More than happy to like reach out to me. We have a Kickstarter campaign that we just launched. So like if somebody wants to fly with me down to the shoot and shoot it and see the filming behind the scenes, there's a package for that. We have different packages and cool stuff like shirts and hats and sweatshirts to try to help. We have a promotional budget that we have to promote. So we're raising some money for that on Kickstarter. And so I've never done one of those campaigns either, but it's really cool. Like I'm the host of the show. We have 6 kids that are flipping houses. We'll be in Tampa, Florida, and we'll be in just like northeast of Seattle, Washington. So those are the 2 sites where we're doing 3 houses with these 6 kids. And it's a brother and sister pair. It's two sisters and then 2 just like individual kids. And they're flipping their own houses and like making money and raising money for it and making all the decisions, getting coached by me. It's really, really cool. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I was about to ask how you picked them. So were these already kids that were in the program? And you have a program. It's called Teen Tycoons or something like that?
Yeah, the program's called Teenage Tycoon. Yeah, they're in that program, but they were doing this before we even launched the program. Like they're the reason why I built that program. So these are like the early adopter kids. These are kids that they're already all. They're not like this is not their first house. They've already all been successful in real estate, flipping or wholesaling houses. One brother and sister pair, they do apartments. They're underwriting apartments. They're really deep. If they've been spending the last 2 years learning apartment underwriting and apartment investing. So, and they've all had successful purchases, capital raising, exits on houses, have made money. One of the girls, Riley, was the first one at any of our events, and so she's going to be my co-host on the show. And she did a deal that made her $27K, bought a car with it, and she just. Okay, I can't share too much about her because we're going to unveil a lot of this on the show. So I'm not going to tell you like all the things that she just did and succeeded in because it's going to be filmed and be like some of the pressure that we build up in the show. So if I tell you all the things that she just did like last week, then it'll give away some of the stuff that we're going to film. But yeah, they're all kids that have been in our 7-figure flipping community. Their parents are in there and they've been like flipping houses for years. These are not like, hey kid, take a house. Let me see if you can do it with my coaching. Like, these are kids that were telling their story from real life, and these are real life deals that they bought. Like they bought the house, they raised the money. They if they don't make money, they lose money. Like their money. Like we're not buying that. I'm not buying the house. The show is not paying for any of this stuff. They don't get free stuff. Like this is real. This is not scripted. This is real, like unscripted TV.
Just documenting the process. Joey, you know what I'm thinking about, right?
I'm afraid to say probably.
I mean, if you're a betting man, I'm thinking that we should have a vending TV show for our kids before you know it.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the name would be, but I can't think that fast. So
me either. ChatGPT will help us. Don't worry about that.
Kids who vend.
Oh man. All right, Bill, thank you so much for coming on. Tribe, if you want to go check out all the things that Bill's up to, you can go to what'swallstreet.com/7-figure flipping. Other than that, man, people want to connect with you. Where would you send them, Bill?
7figureflipping.com, like it's the number 7figureflipping.com. We have a podcast called 7-Figure Flipping. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, like flipping houses, that's the place to go. And then social media for me, like it's pretty much all of it's at Bill Allen REI. I got Bill Allen REI is like real estate investor. And then the biggest thing I would say is like, come, like watch the show. Like it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like real value, like real people doing real things that have like good personal and core values, which I think is missing on TV. Great co-viewing TV show. It's going to be called Kids Who Flip. And you can probably expect it out somewhere around March 2025. So, and then it should be on all streaming platforms and possibly like we're trying to get it on the CW live on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. So we're working on a contract with them on that right now.
That's fantastic. For sure, we'll have to make sure our investors in training group put that on their to-do list when it comes out, to be watching that, be inspired, taking it to the next level, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Tribe, for listening. As always, found value. Not only go follow Bill, get involved in one of these many ventures that potentially he shared, but also if you have kids, like get them interested in this stuff by just listening this episode. Be inspired by 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds who are out there making $25,000 to $75,000 just flipping houses, or I don't want to say just flipping houses. This is a task to do it, but doing something at such a young age. As always, thank you for listening. Have an amazing day.
This has been the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to break free of the Wall Street mindset and begin building wealth on your own terms in places you understand so that your wealth will never run dry. See you next episode.